There we go. First of all, thank you, thank you, thank you.
You're more than welcome. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah. Um, First of all, we're going to talk about death,
Hmm.
right? And you agreed because you kind of helped me a lot when my parents passed away. So I got onto this Tibetan Book of the Dead.
Hmm.
And you didn't say go read that, but we were talking about your studies of Buddhism, and then I got onto that, and I want to say thank you for that because that really did a lot to me. I've known you for years. I known you as an artist, and then you started studying Buddhism, right? As a meditation, or how did that come about?
I think I was searching, as many do. And what I liked about Buddhism the most is it's not a religion, it's a philosophy, right? It's a way of life. And This Tibetan Buddhism that I study, they are very clear on you have to study, you have to read, you have to listen to teachings, then you have to contemplate. So you have to internalize it, and then you have to meditate on it. And after all those steps, if then you say, okay, that can work for me, that works for me, I understand that, then you follow the path. It's not you have faith, of course, in the teachings and Buddha and all that, but you don't have blind faith. And that's what I saw in a lot of religions, the blind faith. And I think in Buddhism, in this Tibetan Buddhism, um, they really count on you studying yourself, contemplating, meditating, and really trying to understand what is said during these teachings, what the Buddha's teachings were, um, and then see if it works for you. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You don't follow. I mean, you don't stick there. You just, and that was what I was fascinated by it, reading the text first and then finding the teachers. And it's like a puzzle coming together, right? All the pieces coming together, and then um, and the more and more I studied, I contemplated and meditated, the more it made sense to me, and the more I'm overjoyed even now to live my life in this way because it's very enriching for me. Yeah,
A-
absolutely.
And does it give you a kind of I know I'm going to use the word comfort, but
Mhm.
towards the end of our lives, I mean, we are going in that direction. Does it do anything for you looking at that portal or going through to that?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, everybody dies, we
Yeah.
can't escape that. So that's something that's a law, a natural law we have to do. And I think I made it my practice to think about death every day. It's something I do every day. And then it's more of an awareness that everything's so fragile and everything's temporary, right? Nothing stays the same. Everything's is moving, and it's for me it's a reminder to pay attention and to love more carefully, and then also not to lose too much time in trivial things, and or endless distractions like Netflix or whatever, TikTok even for me then especially, and then I think if you really think about impermanence, so everything changes every time, minute by minute, nothing stays the same, then the priorities starting to change. And for me, that means that small things become precious, right? Because and why? Because you stop assuming that they will be there forever. They won't. So even my morning coffee or now talking with you, or the sound of the birds outside, the people you love, And when you know everything's gonna change, it's one day it's gonna stop, it's gonna end, everything's gonna end, right? And then that doesn't make me sad, but it's brings my attention much more to the present, right? So and I do appreciate things more deeply just because of that, because it's not guaranteed. But next week, next month, I do have no idea. I mean, I could be, run over by something, or have, have a stroke or something. You never know that. So to me, that's very important to think about that every day, to remind me of how impermanent and how fragile everything is. And that makes me yeah, very attentional, to live my life in the best way I can, meaning ethically right, compassionate, loving, that sort of thing. So and don't waste. I'm not wasting my time on worry or anxiety, or things, because that's, to me, that's a waste of time. I could spend those minutes, hours, a lot better, even just sitting outside, or lying in a hammock now with this 30 degrees, and just going in the breeze. That's way more important, and gives a lot more joy and love, than being concerned with worries that you sometimes you can't do anything about that. So, so
So,
yeah.
so do you believe that in what you're studying,
Mhm.
and you say everything changes, nothing is permanent, one day it's all gonna stop. Does it transform? Or is it just stop and it's nothing?
Well, in Buddhism, it's not stop and nothing. Eh?
Okay.
There's meant, no, that it is a continuation. So nothing has a beginning, nothing has an end in Buddhism. So when we die, there's a whole process, there's a whole teachings about that, but that's very technical. But if I can condense it a little bit, there's the reincarnation, the believe in reincarnation, and how you reincarnate is, um, that's how you lived your life before. That is the karma piece of that. So it never ends in Buddhism, you know. There's always a continuation. It doesn't mean that I, as Karolien here, this Karolien, I'm not gonna reincarnate as another Karolien. That's not gonna happen, you know. So there's not, sometimes you see in Hinduism, they speak about the Atman, so the self, the sense of self. Um, Buddhism doesn't really follow that. So even that doesn't exist. It does exist, but it is so subtle that it's like it seems like it doesn't exist. But there is a continuation, yes, exactly. And if you want to have a good rebirth in Buddhism, then it depends on how you lived your life before, for a big part of it. So
So you better start cleaning.
exactly, cleaning, exactly, cleaning, and also cleaning your actions, but also cleaning your mind, because the mind is a huge part of everything we do. Everything we think is the mind, so that's a huge, huge thing. And in Buddhism, with the meditations, the calm abiding, or the shamatha, um, we try to um, make that mind as silent as possible. So there's more room for other things, for compassion and love, and seeing how things really are. But
Yeah. Yeah,
yeah,
because I saw also, I've known you for years. I also saw how your art changed. I
yes,
mean, what you do now is just stunning. And that is also sort of like a continuation of meditation, of that focus, of right?
exactly. It's exactly what you say. So it's a I think the two, between meditation and my art, is I think I need both to be in silence. Meditation, that's obvious, right? But also when I do my dots, It is in silent most of the time. There's that repetition, that's that focus, because it's easy to make a little blob of ink and the whole thing is trash. So there has to be a very focused attention there. But then also when I do that, it's less more about the result I will have, but much more about the progress. And doing that hours after hour, like putting dots there, I don't do anything more than dipping my pen in the ink, putting dots, the same action, hours after hour, which I love that. But then in that same time, it also I kind of dissolve the me in there, kind of dissolves, and also the mind becomes very quiet. Because if I only focus on dot, 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 there's nothing else going on except dot, 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 dot. And even then, those dots disappear in my mind. So it's only the action, right? And to me, that's very similar to when you meditate. So you try to get rid of all those silly voices in your mind that do nothing but trouble you. And if you can calm your mind in that way, then there's also almost nothing there except a very sharp focus on what really matters, what really is there. And you have to investigate that. Yeah.
Yeah, because another common friend we have got to use your artwork for the cover of a book.
Yes,
Huh?
exactly. Yes, yes,
And
yes.
and it's amazing what she has gotten of response just for the cover. Huh? People tell her they order the book, they they're so attracted to the artwork, and then they get even more surprised that there are more things inside.
Good, 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 good.
So so it does, you know, bounce back, the what you're doing. And so what I wanted to talk about was that I know Dinka came to talk to you, use your artwork, and she came home from your visit
Mm-hmm.
and she said to me, Karolien Soete, she was like, if I die, you have to leave me for 3 days on the floor. And Dinka said, but how do I know if she died? And then we were like laughing at that. And then we were both like thinking, even if we knew you were dead, how are we going to make the authority not take your body away? And so I've just been giggling with that because there's something we don't talk about death and we know so little about it. But can you please explain? And that story had just had me, I thought it was just so, it's just so sweet.
Well, in Buddhism, that's how they say it. They prefer for you to die, and if you have a car accident, or that isn't possible, right? I mean, but if I'm blessed enough to die at home, or I'm very ill and I'm in the hospice, or um, and I have a room, and I can die there, surrounded by whoever I want, and then there. For Buddhist, the moment of death in Western medicine is when the heart stops, right? If they listen, they don't feel any heartbeat anymore. They say, okay, time of death, poof, done. Person is dead, But in Buddhism, there's a lot of steps coming after that, and that has to do with energies. But that's very specific, and that's very. I have to be very careful because it's written down so um, so I can't make any mistakes there. What I can say is that if the circumstances are open to that, they prefer the body then, after the heart stops, to stay in the bed for 3 days. That would be the best, because then that person who is mostly a Buddhist has the time to let the energies do their thing, and then go through that way to the bardo, they say, and then through another life. The thing is, when you touch the body too soon, like when the heart stops and you start cleaning the body or hugging it or crying in the room or doing anything very loud or something, then it can disturb those energies to not, to don't can't do what they want to do. And so, but 3 days is very exceptional. Here in the West, it's not possible. If you die, you have to, maybe you get a few hours after. And that's what happens, and that's what it is, right? But in Buddhism, they say if you place your hand on the chest of your beloved, your dying one, and that feels cold, that is cold, then it means that the energies had their time to do their thing, and then it's good to do all the things we do here in the West. But the ideal situation would be 3 days, and then very quiet, very peaceful, and just let that person lie there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love it. I love it. And that's why you have the necklace, right?
This the necklace is that's a connection with my teachers.
Yeah.
Um, and it's full of objects that my teachers gave me, and also I got through other ways, and it has a lot to do with my practice and the connection with my teachers. So it's not really has to do with the death or nothing. It's just my connection with the teachings um, and my teachers, yeah, and the teachings, yeah, teachers and teachings.
But maybe you were lucky that if somebody comes in and they see that, they go, wait a minute, she's Buddhist. Let's leave her alone.
Yeah. That would be nice. I hope I have the time to well, if I die here at home, I hope friends will find me and they will know that I'm a Buddhist, so they know what to do.
Yeah.
Um, and if I die in a hospital or hospice, then I will take my how do you
Yeah.
say that? I will
You,
take.
you yeah, you will make sure that people know how
Yeah, exactly.
this is
Yes,
gonna
yes.
end. Oh, that is so great. Are you
Yeah.
afraid of
No, I'm not. I am not.
have
No.
have you ever been?
Ever been afraid of death?
Yeah.
I have to think about that. Hmm. I remember once I accidentally smelled some kind of toxic thing, and it took my breath away. And in that moment, I was really fearful because I couldn't breathe anymore, right? For a minute, nothing. It's just um and but that's years ago. That's before my meditation practice, anything. So I'm wondering because I can say I'm not afraid of that, but what's going to happen when I'm completely in front of it, right? I think when I hope I have time, like 3 months or something, or a few weeks to prepare myself. If I know that I'm gonna die, that would be ideal for me. But there's nothing to be afraid of, right? Because I think the fear comes when you have a really when you have that attachment to to me, myself, your and that's what I'm trying with meditation and Buddhist meditation and teachings is to really look at that me, who you think you are. And if you really deeply look at it, then that me you think you are is very important, slowly dissolves until there's almost nothing left, right? So when you die, why would you be afraid? Because there's nothing really. I mean, there is something, but it is so subtle, you know. So I think the fear is for the ones next to you, your dear ones, and also what the image of yourself is. You have an attachment to the me you think you are. And I hope with this studying Buddhism and meditation that dissolves more and more and more and more, and then there's no reason to be afraid anyway.
Yeah. Because you were there also when your mom passed away, right?
When? When who?
When your mom, when your mother passed away, you were there
Yes,
also.
yes, 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 yes. I was very fortunate to be there.
Yeah,
And I told you it was for me that was a magical moment. It was so special, so beautiful, so authentic. There's no more masks. That's done. That's over with, right? It's
yeah,
so pure. It's very intense. But that's those are moments I will never forget because they are so true and so beautiful. If you can do it in the right on the right way, you know you have that experience too, right? So.
yeah. I mean, I can only recommend anybody to say, please be there when your parents pass away because it's great teaching for you.
Mhm.
You are They're teaching you how to leave the body.
Yeah.
They're still your parents. They're teaching you. I was just blown away with that, even though my mom, she didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But you know, but you get over that. But it's really powerful. They really teach you. It's amazing teachings. And what I found even more fun in that setting was that you both my parents had cancer, so they were like your mom also, right?
Hmm.
So there's doctors and all that, but nobody's preparing you for what is really going on because, like you said, they're like, okay, heart stop, life over. No, no, no. There's a whole thing going on here that is so profound.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, that I'm on this path to wake people up
Hmm.
to embrace death because I had a huge fear of death and I've looked into it. I had to see where it came from,
Hmm.
uh, and I've become more happy
Mm. Yeah.
going through that, not running away from it, but going through that,
Exactly.
and
Yeah.
like you say, accept it.
Hmm.
Yeah, hello, you. Like we had a common teacher at one point who says nobody gets out alive,
Exactly.
and
That's
and
it.
and you just gotta get comfortable with that. Oh, it's so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really am on that rampage to my friends. Don't stay away.
No, 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 no. It's such
It's,
a beautiful lesson. Even if it's hard, it's very hard, eh?
oh, no, nothing is easy. I
Yeah.
mean, if it
Yeah.
was easy, hello, we wouldn't do squat shit. Yeah, but it's of course your heart is just kapuchka, but it comes back together again, and you're even stronger. That's what I want to, right?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes. And you appreciate everything that's happening, good and bad even, because you know that it is life and you learn, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Oh, it's beautiful. And then you figure out there is nothing good and there is nothing bad, right? There is just it. Yeah.
Yes,
That's
it's all teachings. I mean, it would be very boring if everything was good, right? What would we learn? Not really much, huh?
no.
I think if you're confronted with difficult times and it's good to see how you stand in front of them yourself, and how you can deal with it, and how you still can be loving and compassionate, you know, around with other people, even in difficulty, and don't become the problem itself, because I think that's the suffering that many people have is like it's tremendous suffering is becoming um that pain or that worry or that sadness or that grief. If that is your personality now, then it must be terrible.
Mm.
um you know, but if you see it and you recognize it in yourself, then you work on it and you come out the other way, right? And then, you know, I mean, come on, it gives a lot of peace and a lot of
Oh,
happiness and love, bliss even, right? Because yeah, you're way more stronger than you think you are, you know.
yeah, because I just went through it this April. Uh, I went to see my sister, and I was dreading it because every time I go back to Copenhagen, it had that thing. Oh, my mother died there. That last
Hmm.
breath. Oh,
Hmm.
and I was just kind of embracing myself for that pain.
Hmm.
Mhm. And then I was together with my sister, and we had such a wonderful time. We were talking about my mom, and I realized her grief, she grieved in another way. You know, I
Mhm.
was like, oh, now I'm getting back to the grief. And I had a moment for myself where I would sit outside in the sun, and in April in Denmark, the light is very full of light. There's a
Mhm.
lot more photons in light. And it's known for people who are winter depressed. You just have to sit outside in the first light that comes, and it will just blow away
Yeah.
all your depression, basically.
Mhm.
And at night I went to bed, and the grief just left. I mean, it didn't do any. I mean, it just left me.
Mhm.
I woke up and said to my sister, "Oh my God, you're not going to believe it! It just left,
Mhm.
and it hasn't come back
Mhm.
ever since. It just and and I realized, once you allow grief to sit with you, but
Mhm.
don't do anything with it, just let it be there and let
Mhm.
it figure it out itself.
Yeah.
And it leaves by itself. And
Mhm.
then you know, hey, we're moving on, and you become what a better person you become.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
It's an amazing feeling.
Yes. And in Buddhism, they say it's the same with fear. If you let the fear be, if you see it, you recognize it, okay, there is fear, then the fear itself is gonna shrink more and more and more until it's completely gone, right? So if you, yeah, but you know that takes courage, you know, because you know you have to be strong enough or to be dapper enough to look it in the eyes and to say it's okay, I see you, it's okay. But most of us, I mean, we try to run away as fast as possible if things, you know, are trying to change or trying to fight it or whatever. And then to me, it didn't work that way. Fighting doesn't work. It's accepting that does work, and then it's slowly diminishes, and then yeah, I think that yeah, you become a much more peaceful, silent, you know, patient human being if
Yeah,
you
you
can
could just
deal with, yeah, exactly, it's like "Hmm?" and
yeah.
and and then everything's fine, everything's good. I mean, I can deal with everything. I'm not afraid of it. I'm facing it right on, you know.
Yeah, and it's not like life is going to get easier.
No.
It's just less drama.
Yes, exactly.
That's it. That's it. You're just not involved in the drama. I
Mm-mm.
mean, you still have to pay your taxes, and you still have to do all of that crap. But yeah, I so great. And another dear friend, June Miller, you remember her from New York?
Yes, yes, I think
Yeah.
so.
But I had her also on a Skype, and she said something that really, she said, no, nobody taught you how to think. You taught yourself how to think. And then I was like, oh my God, she was so right. And as an adult, like we got some years now, how to unwind, I mean, how to restructure the thinking. Like, what have I been doing?
Hmm.
It's like,
Yes.
what a mess that we are not taught how to think in a young age. What a relief. Do they have schooling for young kids in Tibetan teachings?
I think
Buddhism?
I
Buddhism?
think there's a program. The Dalai Lama is very keen on spreading those programs in the schools for young kids. Yeah, they're doing a lot of and it's about mindfulness, which is a big thing. You know, um, and yes, what I also find Buddhism so amazing in, sorry, is that the knowing your mind is so important because I mean we think we I mean I can say, you know, you hear somebody say I'm a very anxious person, right? There's a lot going on in my mind, and they're talking and they're but the thing that Buddhists say is, but why do you believe that? I mean, it isn't real. It's not real. It's just your mind. It's one of the voices in your mind. And why should you believe those? Because there's other voices who are loving and kind, you know, and make you happy. So, and that's what shamatha is about also. It's trying to get that mind very still and getting rid of all those silly voices. Most of the time they just are silly and are about ego and about self and me. How dare the others do this to me. You know, most of the time that's that, eh? And if you can silence those, then you as a person become a lot more calm and you know. So that's the beauty of those meditation techniques. Yeah.